Hello everybody and welcome to race number 8 of the Night Racing League Sports Car Championship. Today we wrap up Season 2 and we couldn't be more excited as today we're at the greatest sports car circuit on the planet, the Circuit de la Sarthe in Le Mans, France. As the cars are just finishing up their warm-up, we're looking at the Night Racing Esports Corvette team. 3 C8Rs, and they're all running in tandem here today. We have got a ton of news, and it starts in about 30 seconds with the qualifying format. A 30-minute session here again today, but it's not a 15-minute split as we're used to. The cars are all going to be out at the same time. They're going to be LMPs out first, then with a 30 seconds into the session, the GTEs will be going out. And then 30 seconds after that, the biggest news of all, the GT3 AM class will head out onto the circuit as the Night Racing League officially goes to 3 classes starting today in preparation for Season 3. While the GT3 class isn't official today, they are going to be on track so some drivers can get their feet wet, get some experience in the league. And whoops, we got a Corvette jumping out there. I think Steve will recognize that pretty soon as the LMPs are coming out first. The GTEs, pit road opens at 29:30. There is Dawson Hess and newcomer right there in the 48. That is Wayne Wortley, one of the new LMP drivers. And he's working on getting his KRL Super license, another requirement for Season 3. We have tons of news that we're going to get through here in the qualifying session. The timing screen's a little different. The blue colored cars are the LMPs. The yellow colored cars today will be the GTE class, and you can see the pink colors of the new GT3 class. Only 4 GT3s here today as some drivers get their feet wet, and we have a bunch of GTE drivers finishing off their Season 2, and they'll be switching over to GT3 in the Summer Special Event Series. We're very excited that we have announced that. There is the schedule if you want to get involved in the KRL. The summer event schedule will run this summer, a 90-minute race at Silverstone in 19th of June, then a 2-hour endurance race on the historic Grand Prix circuit at Barcelona, Spain, to be followed by the 90-minute finale at Sebring. These races will be used to set the rules, make sure the format is all set, and of course get the drivers ready for Season 3, which will kick off in September. The schedule to be announced in July. Stay tuned for that as the Night Racing League gets bigger and better for Season 3. The LMPs sorting themselves out for their opening qualifying lap. We should have a big field, and I did mention a super license. The new class rules coming up as we've got a nice long outlap. We can start talking about some of the stuff we're looking forward to. The LMP2 class is going to be capped at 12 cars, and all drivers must have a KRL super license. There are currently 7 drivers with super licenses. I lie, there are 8 drivers with super licenses at the moment. And to get one of those, the LMPs again have an unlimited I rating, but the drivers have to be committed to this series to get a super license. They have to be finishing races and also has to demonstrate very, very good traffic abilities, because with 3 classes they're going to be going through a lot of traffic And so the Summer Series and this race here today are being used to fulfill those obligations and set a 12-car grid for September for the 8-race Season 3. So that is one thing that's going on here. You can see the 3 Night Racing Esports Corvette C8Rs as the team is getting ready for another run at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. This series, the best practice and training grounds for drivers wanting to be endurance racers or drivers who are endurance racers. And the schedule avoids European Endurance Series races as these drivers all compete in that, and is also scheduled to be used as warm-ups and test sessions for special events, and that's what's going on here today as well. And you can see the 777 on circuit there of Jaden Manathan Guerin. 3 drivers today have been given special dispensation to change cars as Dawson Hess has stuffed it. The 67 is off, and you have to get it out of the sand trap and all the way around. That's down, coming through the S's, approaching Tete Rouge, so he's got a long way to go to get back to the start-finish line as the GTE cars now start their first timed lap. No teleporting in qualifying. It's an instant DQ as very strict qualifying scrutiny in this series, as you know, and getting a free car after you make a mistake like that is not allowed. So he's got to get that all the way around, get his damage fixed, and then Dawson can head back out to get his qualifying done. Another reason why we've allowed a 30-minute open qualifying session here. As we were talking about Jaden Manathan Guerin, they're in the 777, following, he's the 3rd car in line as he comes by Kevin Hensel. Doesn't look like he wants to come by Kevin Hensel. But Jaden, one of 3 drivers who've been given a special dispensation to change cars for this race. Jaden to get 2 hours under his belt for the 24-hour race, which happens in 2 weeks. And also, you will notice John Dinkel is going to be racing in a Porsche RSR today. The Ford GT is gone for Season 3. And so John has been given permission to run his Season 3 car, and that opened up the ability for us to bring the GT3 class in. And at the moment, the GT3s are running Mercedes, AMGs, and we have some Ferrari 488s. The Lamborghini Huracan was available for today, but none of the 4 drivers who are here are signed up to drive that car, so we won't see it today. As just looking to see who's going to be the first one to come across the line here. As we should start to get our first qualifying laps in the books. There's Dawson now coming back. Andreas Schwarz in the 204 is the first car across the line. And there he is, immediately supplanted by the 48 of Wayne Wortley. A 3:31.4 is the provisional pole. And we remind you that the timing screen is showing all of the qualifying times. We will have the official times. Of course, if you get a 1X, your lap is going to be invalidated, as it always is in qualifying. So we'll have the official times at the end of the sessions. But at the moment, Wayne Wortley on pole with a 3:31.458. Paul Seeley, a great lap in the 72, a 3:32.514. And he's got 7/10 on his teammate, Keith Rainey, who you see in the background there. 33.2 and a 34.9. As the GTEs start to come across the line, there is Connor Seidel, a 3:48.1, but he is a second behind the Season 2 two-time champion, Jen McDonald, on provisional pole at the moment. A 3:47.161. Is trying to hog all the TV time by running close and having the iRacing cameras jump to them. How have the three night racing boys done here? We've got them down on the order, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So maybe trying to get that toe hasn't been working out. We did see Fowler and Guerin and Hensel sort of tripping over each other. Their times, yeah, not even competitive. So they're sorting some things out on that first out lap. And in behind there, you see the 4 car of Thomas Brommel, who's just now out on his first timed lap. As the GT3s come through. And I believe that was a jump back to pit lane for Dale Clough. That's one of our new GT3 drivers. The GT3 is not running for points today. This is strictly an exhibition for them. As we have a peek at Dante Quispe, another Canadian in the lineup. He's running the number 15 488 GT3, currently running second with a time of 4 minutes 5 seconds 986. The GT3 class is going to be it's LMP. We have GTE Pro, and we'll have all of your favorites in there: Jen McDonald, Connor Seidel, Hayden Fowler, Kevin Hensel, Jens Wolters, Toby Seninger. They'll all be back for Season 3 in GTE Pro. We've got a bunch of new drivers coming in. And the GT3 AM class, for drivers with a minimum B license and a maximum 2K I rating. As Wayne Wortley has upped the ante here in LMP with a 3:30.439. Currently on the front row with Andreas Schwarz. So the GT3 class, if you want to get involved, if you got a B license and a I rating under 2K, you can come in on the GT3 AM class and get involved in this. They're planning to have 12 LMPs, 18 GTE Pro, and 18 GT3 AM for Season 3. And you've got 3 races to get yourself signed up, acclimatized, if you're running LMP to get your super license. All in time for the summer schedule. And here it is again. We'll stick it up on screen. 3 races over the summer: 19 June, 17 July, and 14 August. And we can't wait to get that going as the Night Racing League goes to 3 classes. As the GT3 is coming around, Mark Sonnen has improved in 4th place. He just put up a 3:48.898 in the 111 Corvette C8R. A lot of Corvettes here today, but at the moment, they are all locked out of the top 3 as the night cars come across the line. And Hayden Fowler in the 28. They all go green. Hayden Fowler goes purple with a 3:46.809 and takes the provisional pole in the GTE class. Hensel improves to 3rd, and Manathan Guerin up to 5th as they put in their first representative times here. Here's a couple of our GT3 drivers. Dante Quispe, we've already seen, and that is Enos Bothma in the 395 Mercedes AMG. And Enos has been at least 2, and I want to say 3 of the practices as they trip over each other, and Dante loses the back end. So there's a qualifying lap done. And they'll get themselves going again. Currently Dale Clough on provisional pole in this class. Don't think there will be any ramifications for the teleport. He's going to be what's the word I'm looking for? He'll have the rules read back to him and make sure he knows what to do when the races count, starting in the summer. Both GTE cars come to the pits. 15 minutes, just under 16 minutes left, so they'll get some fresh tires and start at it again. Plenty of time to get a time in. Lars Rydstedt in the 333 LMP has also made it down into pit road. Currently sitting on the outside of row 3 with a 340.027. As we head back on track, Manathan Guerin getting the second chicane wrong on Mulsanne. Everybody pushing a little hard. There's Marcel Struff, our first look at the Switch at 78 BMW M8 today. Where's Marcel doing there? He's sitting currently 9th. And there is newcomer. Let's make sure we got the camera to stick on him there. Sorry, that was John Dinkel, but we did want to get a shot here of the 56. That is Aaron Taylor in his debut, and Aaron has been super fast, and as he comes across the line, sets the provisional pole. 346.324 for Aaron, straight to the top of the charts. And there you see Enos Bothma back out in behind. Currently sitting third, but Enos has been quick all week, and as we were saying, doing a lot of the practice sessions, so looking like he will be one of the drivers to watch out for in GT3 AM as we get going. We're talking with Enos a little bit before during the race week this week. It seems like they're very excited. He and his team, Wayne Wortley, who is currently on provisional pole in LMP, running out of the same garage, so be good to see what they get up to over the summer and into Season 3. It's great to have them as the Night Racing League grid expands. There's Jonathan Dinkel in his Porsche RSR. As unfortunately, with only a certain amount of cars being allowed on circuit with the 3 classes, we've gone with 3 cars each in the GT classes. And over the summer, we will do an 8-car test, as Hess is around again in the 67. He set a 332.931, but I'm told it's an invalidated lap. He did have a track limit violation on there. We will get confirmation of that at the end of the session. But Dawson Hess has been also very good in practice this week, and looking to be someone to watch today, but having a little trouble in qualifying as the Night Racing Esports cars head down to pit road. Now that happened in the Ford chicanes. Oh, and he's off again. That would have been a 1X, so we know this lap is also invalidated. We'll run down the grid here as we check back in with Dante Quees. Wayne Wortley, Andreas Schwartz currently on the front row in LMP. Paul Seeley inside row 2 with Dawson Hess, Keith Rainey, and Lars Rydstedt in row 3. Thomas Brommel, a 343.6. He is out of position inside row 4. As the Corvettes come back out, definitely some tandem qualifying going on here. Brommel does not have his teammate. They usually do that every session. The champion in LMP with some obligations today and no Dennis Rotter. But we'll see him in the Summer Series as well as Thomas Brommel. Just trying to see here. Actually on a pretty good lap. He's purple in 4 sectors so far. But getting held up a little bit here by the M8 of Connor Seidel. But he'll pull out of the draft here, and as we head into the Porsche curves, he'll have the track to himself. Not really anybody he's going to catch before the end of the lap. Next car in line is Jen McDonald, who he may get to by the Ford chicane, but we'll see about that. Thomas was on a good lap. We'll see how much that was compromised by having to wait through Arnage behind a couple of GTE cars. Thomas in a fight here with Andreas Schwarz for second place. Have a few battles like that. Hayden Fowler in GTE is also 5 points behind Jens Wolters as Thomas heads into pit road. He's got time here, 3.5 minute laps, so maybe some fresh boots. Get it out there with 2 laps of fuel, and he should be able to put a time in here. But it's being cut close for him. That lap obviously wasn't going to be an improvement, so he's going to take as much time as he can to go back out with fresh tires and see if he can get himself up the grid. But Brommel out of position, and we know Hess, we don't think he has set a valid lap time yet. So he will also be out of position as Keith Rainey has jumped his teammate with a 3:31.1. He now has the inside of row 3 with Seeley on the outside, and Hess around again as I think he's just coming back into the pits. Aaron Taylor on pole ahead of this car, the 28 of Hayden Fowler, by just under half a second, 48 hundredths of a second. Time to beat is a 3:46.3. Fowler a 3:46.809 so far. And he's leading the group here. As we're down to 2 Corvettes there now. They're all out on track, but only 2. Manathan Guerin is just behind them. He looks like he's lost the draft on these 2. Oh, he did have that off we saw down in the Mulsanne, the second chicane. Is Hayden Fowler checking in with his circuit times at a green sector 3, but doesn't look like anything to write home about here on this lap. 8 minutes remaining in the session. And Hayden will come across the line. And yes, no improvement there. That last lap time is actually an out lap, so we saw them leave together, but boy, that's how long it takes for them to go around. Wortley improves to a 3:34.39. Schwarz, Seeley, Hess, and Rysted in the pits. We're just checking out Brommel's time, as he's just now caught Jen McDonald. He was purple sector 1. McDonald just coming through Mulsanne at the moment. So hopefully Thomas will get himself a clean lap. There is the M8 of the champion. And boy, did that sound like the V8 of a Mercedes AMG going by that camera. So, who's just up the road there? Yeah. That was Chris Thompson, the 3rd driver here today, who has been given special permission not only to change cars, because he's not in a championship battle, but he's been allowed to change classes. Chris will be in the GT3 AM class, so he is the only KRL experienced driver. There's Chris there in his brand new Mercedes AMG. And a flash from Thomas as he's starting to get a little urgent, and Chris moves over. And that's clear track all the way now for Thomas, and he's done 2 purples and 1 green sector on this lap so far. And I think we're going to see the 4-car jump up the timing screens here as he completes what'll be his 3rd timed lap of the session. Ooh, stay away from the slowdown. That was close. The center of the car has to be on that white line or inside when you exit the Corvette chicane. This should be a good lap time. Doesn't look like he got a slowdown there, and no improvement. Was that an outlap? These long outlaps are killing me here. It was an outlap, a 4:30, so that includes his speed up time. So this is Thomas's qualifying lap now. We'll watch his sector times as Hayden Fowler continues. He's now dropped his teammate behind. There's Kevin Hensel, a little push off at Arnage. Sonnen improves to a 3:48.543 onto the inside of row 4 in GTE. Enos Bothma, 3 purples. He's already got that car on provisional pole, and he's up the ante. He's got a 2.5 on Dale Clough. Dante Queef in 3rd, and Chris Thompson yet to set a lap time. John Dinkle moves his Porsche up to 4th with a great lap, 3:47.7, and that'll put him on the outside of row 2. As Brommel again. Sticking to the middle of the road is Dante, and by they go. That's the nice long track. We wanted to get some of the new drivers on, get him in with traffic. The championships are settled. Some battles going on down the points for 2nd, but get as many cars on the circuit as possible, get everybody used to the multi-class, and get that experience. And it looks like a clear lap now, as now coming down through Mulsanne. Brommel, the next car in line is Aaron Taylor, and he's already through Arnage, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. The GTE pole sitter at the moment. Fowler has crossed the line, and it was a 3:46.445. It was an improvement. But he is still 2nd as we watch what is likely going to be a jump up on the timing screens here late in qualifying. Thomas with 2 purple sectors, and he has no traffic all the way to the end of this lap. Taylor is just coming through the Ford chicanes now. So Thomas with a completely clear track here to get himself off of the back row in LMP. Reacquainted, that was a word I couldn't think of earlier. Angles that entry into Ford very quick through there, and we're going to see an improvement here from the number 4, Brommel, to the top of the sheets, a 3:29.8. And after sitting on top of the timing sheets all session long, Wayne Wortley is pushed to the outside of row number 1. What a lap by Thomas. And very important, as this puts him ahead of Andreas Schwarz on the grid. And that is the battle for second in LMP in the championship. Jen McDonald over the line. Currently third, that last lap, a 347. So no improvement there. Taylor and Fowler on the front row, Jen McDonald and John Dinkle in second place. There is Aaron Taylor. There are your two GTE pole sitters at the moment on screen at the same time. As qualifying will end, there's no point on the track. The session is going to end at some point. I don't think many will have a chance to come around again. Morton has a chance to improve. We're just watching him. He's just now in the Porsche curves. Wayne's done a purple sector. His first sector was purple. He also has two greens, so we could see an improvement here from the 48. And we'll see if we have that front row swap again as he's very close to that slowdown, but it looked okay. 3:29.810, the time to beat. Gets the power down. And over the line. He does improve, but not enough to get the pole position, a 3:31.54 for Wortley. And that's going to set your front row as the qualifying session expires. And as we take out the lap times due to track limits, it is Thomas Brommel on pole with Wayne Wortley. A 3:29.811 is the pole time. 3:30.152 for Wortley outside row number 1. Andreas Schwarz and Keith Rainey a 10th apart in row number 2, with Paul Seeley and Lars Rydstedt in row number 3, 3:32.1 and a 3:40.0. And as we expected, no valid lap times for the 67. Dawson Hess will start in 7th in a row by himself in row 4. GTE Pro. Oh, I'm going to love to start calling that. Aaron Taylor on pole with a 3:45.862 alongside Hayden Fowler with a 3:46.307. And that's important as Hayden is well ahead of Jens Wolters. Jennifer McDonald will start inside of row 2, 3:46.757 with a 3:47.418 for Jaden Manathan-Garin. John Dinkle and Kevin Hensel in row number 3, 3:47.7 and 3:48.1 respectively. Seidel and Sonnen are row number 4. Groninga Struve in row number 5. Jens Wolters did not put in a lap time and will start alone in row 6, 11th on the grid. And although there are no points on the line, the GT3 AM class, with 4 cars running today getting their feet wet for the summer series, it's Enos Bothma on pole with Dale Clough in second. The second row will be Dante Quisp and Chris Thompson. And that's how we'll line up here at Le Mans for the final race of season number 2. As Wayne Wortley heads on in. Still on it, just in case the session doesn't end and he can improve that time. But I believe it is going to expire on them all. As everybody gets back in, and we'll get our race setups on and get ourselves ready for 2 hours here at Le Mans. It's been a fantastic season 2. We'd like to congratulate our champions, Dennis Rotter in LMP2 and Jennifer McDonald, 2-time champion in GTE. And we look very much forward to seeing them in the summer series and, more importantly, defending their championships as we get going in September with what should be a fantastic, I can't wait for it to all get going, We'll have the grid set over the summer. We've had a lot of interest. We're getting a lot of new league applications. As we said, it's going to be 12 LMPs, 18 cars in both GTE classes, and some people will come and go over the next couple of months. But what we'll have left at the end will be a super strong field, and hopefully more than 40 plus cars in all 8 races. That's always been the goal here as we continue to grow. Currently, we do have 40 plus members in the league, and we'll spend the summer figuring out who's committed, who's going to be here, where to slot them into what classes, and we'll have an incredible championship, the most realistic endurance championship on iRacing, the Night Racing League Sports Car Championship. While we wait for the cars to come back in, there is your summer schedule. And if you want to join us at Silverstone on the 19th of June, just PM me on iRacing, and we will get you into practice sessions. Each of these races has 10 hours of free open practice where you can drive with the real drivers, get your setup done, get your strategies done, and get everything ready so you can compete with these guys. We'd love to have you. LMP, you need to have a super license. The class is pretty much full. We'll see if we lose anybody over the summer. But it'll be tough to get into that, but we certainly will get you into some races if you want to race an LMP. GTE Pro, there are some spots. Unlimited iRating. And if your attendance is maybe not going to be 100%, you could run in that and run, 6-7 races. And the GTAM class, B license minimum, and you must have an I rating under 2K to get into the GT3 AM class. As the session is officially over and we await the Porsche pace car to pop up here on the back straightaway, and we'll get ready here for 2 hours to close off the season in the Night Racing League Sports Car Championship and decide the podiums in both classes up for grabs. Thomas Brommel, Andreas Schwarz will be watching them in LMP. And Hayden Fowler and Jens Wolters. And that's going to be interesting as Hayden's got himself on the front row. And Jens Wolters starting at the back in row number 6. As we await the final few cars, Thomas Brommel always one of the last ones, trying to keep as much tire blanket temperature in, burn the least amount of fuel possible before the pace lap starts. There is Thomas. No Andreas Schwarz as it's getting dark. There's a blank space at the back there too. There's the final Corvette in GTE. As the 2 minutes is almost up. Seeley starts his engine, so that tells you that the 2 minutes could be up. Where is Andreas Schwarz? We're checking back into the pits, and he has been disconnected, we're told. Is getting back on now, but Andreas Schwarz in that battle for second place is going to be starting from pit road. Of course, starting from pit road, not legal intentionally. Technical issues like that. You can, of course, start the race. We're never going to tell somebody you can't start the race. But what a disaster for the 204 car as he's trying to fight for second in this championship. The GTEs get going. It's a 10-second gap between classes. There's Aaron Taylor, who will lead the field in his KRL debut. And behind them, takes the 10-second gap to Enos Bothma as he will lead the GT3s out on their debut in the Night Racing League. We'll have a much bigger field of GT3s at Silverstone as drivers keep signing up. And we have a bunch of GTE drivers who are switching over, who of course are racing GTE today. And the LMPs have dropped single file. That's allowed. The even-numbered qualifier, 2, 4, 6, 8, etc., may drop into a single file road to start the racing with the Ford chicanes right there around where the green lights will go on. That's what they've done. The GTEs are still in their rows as they'll get the green lights right about where the LMPs are now. So they may just start side by side and go into turn 1, which will be right here at the Ford chicanes. The Porsche pace car will come through the first one and then dive into pit road as we get ready for race 8 of 8 in the Night Racing League Sports Car Championship. The green lights are on and Thomas Brommel leads us to the green flag. The GT3s are away and Aaron has the lead through the Ford chicane. Wide goes Keith Rainey. Off in the back is Dawson Hess and Lars Reitzig. And I believe he could have slowed down there. Seeley will take the position up to third place. Schwarz is out of the pits. And off the curve a wiggle and Brady into the wall. Dawson Hess has to avoid. And damage on the front of the 6 car. And he's back in the pits. Meanwhile, in GTE, they're through Tete Rouge, and Aaron Taylor leads with Hayden Fowler right in the tow. Jen McDonald is third, and that is Jaden Maniford-Guerin in the 4. We'll see how many times I call him Kevin Hensel, not being used to having 3 of those cars. It is Fowler on the inside, making a move, and he will take the lead in GTE. What a start for the Canadian as you see Jens Wolters at the back of the pack. That's the battle for second in this championship. Currently led by Jens Wolters by 5 points. Hayden Fowler where he needs to be in the lead. There is Paul Seeley in the 72 up to third in the LMP class. Andreas Schwarz coming through as he had to start from the lane. And Enos Bothma in the background leads the GT3 class as he comes through the first of the 2 Mulsanne chicanes. Meanwhile, up front into the second chicane, you can see Aaron Taylor has taken the lead again into the second chicane, and here comes Fowler. Hensel making a move behind as one of the Porsches going very slowly in the background. I think that's John Dinkel. There's John at the back, and that rear wing doesn't look right. Let's see if we can get some replays here of what's already been an exciting first lap. We're going to hold off as we've got Schwarz coming through the field, and Taylor still in the tow. Little bit of a wiggle under braking, but Fowler's got it under control, and they'll come down to Arnage for the first time. Nice long straight here, and that will get Schwarz through the field, and he will finally be back running in his own class. What an unfortunate... We had some disconnects at the last race as well. So not really sure what's going on. It doesn't seem to be regional. We've had drivers from all kinds of countries having the same issue, although we did have what's going on in Germany, where Andreas is from. As around to complete lap number 1, Thomas Brommel with a 2.3 second gap on Wayne Wortley now in the 48 car. Seeley still in third, ahead of Dawson Hess, who certainly picked up a 1X for avoiding Keith Rainey, but did a great job and has kept it on circuit. Dawson out of position, not setting a valid lap time. In qualifying, he's got it up to 4th place and is chasing down the Canadian. Aaron Taylor in his debut now, getting himself positioned for a run, as we had 3 lean changes on the Mulsanne straight on lap number 1. And we'll see what happens here. Fowler leads, Taylor second. There's Jen McDonald in third, with Manathan Guerin in 4th. Connor Seidel 5th. There is Kevin Hensel, and Jens Wolters up to 7th after his 11th place start, but he's got work to do. And there's Enos Bothma, your GT3 AM leader, ahead of Dante Quisp and Dale Clough in 3rd, as they're having a good little ding-dong here. And Aaron Taylor has dropped to 4th. He's got a slowdown out of Tete Rouge, we're told. And more work to do as both McDonald and Guerin make up positions. Let's have a look and see if we can what happened on lap number 1. The LMPs, we saw this, and Rainey getting a slowdown. That allows his teammate through. And then just a little push. We often see this with the LMPs. Seeley did it a couple of races ago. A little bit of a bounce there and a little too much throttle, and around goes the car. And then we had, here's Jonathan Dinkel, his first race in the Porsche. That's coming through the second chicane. Oh! And he's hit some kind of seal, it looked like. He was out a little wide. And that was a hard hit to the barriers. As we join back live, the GTE field, Fowler, McDonald, Manathan Guerin, and Taylor with Seidel, your top 5. The top 8 GTE cars all together. This has been probably the best class in this series. The racing has been staggeringly close and competitive. And holy smokes, I can't wait to see Season 3 as we have more and more people joining in. Aaron Taylor has been absolutely death-defyingly fast in GTE in practice. Of course, the pole sitter here, so he's going to get himself back on a little slow down there on lap 2. Currently 4.7 off the lead. Ooh, as those are close to slowdowns as well. We'll watch Seidel and Hensel there. Did they maybe get away with that one? And off the track, that's Dante Quisp. He spun his Ferrari, and that is at the Porsche curves. We head back up. We're watching this battle. Of course, on another timing screen, I've got little alerts that show me when cars are close on track. And the graphic is highlighted 2nd through 7th in GTE. They are all that close that they fit under the proximity warning. It's just now split into 2 groups of 3, where you see Aaron Taylor pulling away a little bit from Connor Seidel. But these are the battles on circuit. Brommel now with a 4-second lead over Wayne Wortley. Seeley holding on, but just another 4 seconds back. Dawson Hess starting to reel in the Canadian with a 3-second gap. Those are your top 4, as we've lost Schwarz again. So more issues there. He's trying to get reconnected, but his race going south fast, and that's a terrible, terrible thing, as we see Kevin Hensel making great and passing Connor Seidel, and that'll put the German into 5th place. But everybody's got the toe as we head down to Mulsanne. Connor having a peek. Kevin's got it covered. Jens Wolters watches on. Not a lot of urgency at the moment. You can see the leaders. It's a long race, and it's a track that is not difficult to pass on if you get your exits right. He gets it down on the inside, and he'll try to get himself by Seidel here, but Hensel blocking the way. Into Indianapolis very fast, side by side. Nope, Jens backs out. There are bigger things to worry about here. He can get him somewhere else. Connor covers the inside. I don't think that's more of a covering off the corner than it was a look on the 94 car. And we'll head back up towards the Porsche chicane, the Porsche curves. Up front, in front of them, Aaron Taylor gets the toe and puts himself back in front of Jaden Manathan-Guerin. The pole sitter back to 3rd. And right here, sorry, it was Tete Rouge where he got his slowdown. Still 2 very close groups of 3. Jens looks like he's very well positioned if he wants to try and get Connor down the Mulsanne straight. Dante Quisp in the pits, getting some damage work done there after we saw him spin in the Porsche curves. Schwarz has not rejoined yet, and Keith Rainey also in the pits getting that front end damage. And it looks like we may have lost Jonathan Dinkel for the entire race. That was a big hit. And we saw the wing damage and the side damage. Schwarz back on circuit. There he is. We knew he was trying to get that. You think he's done a complete reboot. But let me see here. He's got 2. He is 1.5 laps off the field. But good on Andreas. This is an endurance series. What a terrible blow with him trying to get second in this championship. But he's going to get out here and finish that 2 hours. So great job by Andreas. And let's hope he's got that issue fixed. If it's at all something he can fix. The battle continues. You see a little bit of a gap now there. Up front. That was from Jaden Manathan-Guerin. He's kind of moving away here as Wolters looking on Seidel. Very evenly matched down here. Heading into the second chicane. 8.7 seconds up to Fowler. You can still see him, but I'm sure He'd love to get through this group if he can. Heavy on the brakes. And a good exit. Is up in front of them. It looks like Taylor's starting to get right on the bumper of Jen McDonald. So we could see a move here for second. Nothing going on there yet. And down into Indianapolis. Taking the middle of the road is Kevin Hensel. And he keeps everyone in behind. On board now with the German in the 24 car. Having a look is Connor Seidel, but he's going to back out. Ooh, and a little wiggle there by Hensel. And that looked wide by the 94 car. We'll see if he had a bit of a slowdown there for that. A good run. But just not close enough to make a move as they... Oh, a big wiggle by Jens. He saves it. I thought the back end was going to go around on him. He started to wag like a dog's tail. But he collects it up, and you can see the gap. And Kevin Hensel spins in front. That's going to give Seidel and Folters the position. He'll drop to 7th. All three of these guys right on the limit. As while all that's happening, Aaron Taylor has made the move and is up to 2nd place. It's a 2.6 second gap to try and get back the top spot that he started this race in. What a battle we're having in GTE, but we're used to that, aren't we? Here is Dawson Hess now. He's caught up to the back of Seeley in the 72. And we've got a battle for 3rd in the LMP class. He takes a peek into the Porsche curves, and that was a good run. And Dawson Hess will take 3rd place in LMP. We knew he was out of position. He's been super fast this week and just didn't get a clean qualifying lap in. And he's moving his way up through the field very, very well. Oh, and as I say that, he pushes it wide, and that's definitely a slowdown. All 4 wheels were out. Seeley makes up the gap, and by the time they get to Porsche, or to the Ford chicanes, he's back in front. And they will start lap 6 where they started lap 5. Through the Dunlop chicane, Dawson doesn't look like he's going to be happy sitting back there. He's got the pace to maybe run down these leaders. His best lap time at 3:32.3. That's pretty much in the field where he's running, but he's clearly quicker. That was his last lap time. That was his quickest lap time. He's got a great run here going down the Mulsanne straight down to the first chicane, and I think we're going to see another change in position here. defense by the Canadian. He doesn't... he's not going to break early for him, but he's known for running a few strategies and certainly not going to burn a lot of extra fuel to keep a car that's clearly faster behind. He's got the toe now. Can save a little more fuel there, and maybe he gets by as Seeley right in the toe. Does pull out. Not ready to give up third place yet. And he retakes it by the braking zone. In a little heavy, though. And a great exit by Dawson. He's going to come right back. Jens Wolters is making the pass. He's made the pass on Seidel. Down into the Ford chicane, side by side for third in LMP. Seeley is running defensive now, and Dawson will drop back in. Great stuff going on in two classes here. It's now Fowler, Taylor, and McDonald. Manfred Guerin still in fourth. Jens Wolters is now up to fifth place. Seidel in sixth. Kevin Hensel, after that little spin at Dunlop chicane, is in seventh. Mark Sonnen in that group as well as the top 8 continue to run together. Dawson has another move as we head to Indianapolis. These two swap positions again. And in behind, holy smokes. Connor Seidel has retaken that position. It's a slowdown for Wolters, we're told. And he's got himself a little bit of a gap. That's usually what happens if you've got to pull over and give that time back. So Jens with about a second to pull back in. He's still got the toe. As we check back in here, this battle may be done and dusted. As long as Dawson can keep his car inside that white line. And everything looks good this time by, and he will complete lap number 6 in third place. Almost 8 seconds up to Wayne Wortley, who's having himself a great debut here in the 48 car. Hess sets his fastest lap for good measure at 31.5 as he's now free to run his own pace and see if he can pull down the leaders. Brommel's last lap, a 30.459. So he is putting them down. The quickest car in the circuit by over a second the last time around. There's Schwarz once again coming through the GTE field. Running 6th in class, Rainey is back on circuit 3 laps down. And there is Wayne Wortley right there as he comes up on Dale Clough. Caterpillar Mercedes AMG. Dale running in 2nd place in the GT3 AM class, making its debut here. No points, just experience and getting your feet wet in the league. We will see that class in its full glory in 3 weeks, 19th of June, on the Silverstone GP circuit, for a 90-minute summer special event. Come and join us in the KRL. The top of the GT3s after running together. Oh, and a contact there. Around goes Andreas Schwarz. He collects the front of Manathan Guerin, trying to get out of the way. Seidel comes through and just a little hot maybe into that. Just a little hot into the Ford chicanes. Very collects that sleeping policeman and just nowhere for Jaden to go there. So we get back live, and Jens Wolters is caught right back up to the back end of this group. Hopefully not enough front end damage for that Corvette to be slowed down. We'll find out. We'll watch his lap times there. But Jens Wolters now back in 6th again, with a pair of cars in front. Jens with a great tow. Looking to get this done before the second chicane, but he's going to be made to go to the outside. Last of the late breakers, but Jaden's got that covered. Now it's all about the exit. We've got Schwartz coming through here again. He should be well by this trio by the time we get down to Mulsanne. And pick up a little bit of an LMP tow as Jens, but seems to have had a little bit of a worse exit off of that corner. He's not going to have a chance. Great lines by both drivers through there. Shores will be through. You see Hensel recovering back there after his spin. Maybe he can make this a 4-car battle for 4th place. Meanwhile, up front, Aaron Taylor has closed that gap, and he has got the 28 right in front of him. We have a battle for the lead here in GTE. Two battles going on. They come through the Porsche curves. Fowler, let's just check the lap times last time around. 3:47.3. It was a 3:46.2. So 1.1 seconds. That's what closed the gap. And Taylor looks racy. They'll head into lap number 8. A great exit there by Fowler. Opened the gap a little bit, but certainly not enough. Taylor right on now, and he's going to have the tow as we head down the Mulsanne straight. Boy, we've had a lot happen already. We're just approaching the 30-minute mark. The 1/4 distance here today at Le Mans. As Taylor out wide using all the track. That was very good though. And he's got a good tow down the straight here. We've got action in behind as well. Just wait and see if we've got a pass here. No. We'll check in behind. Side by side, Manathan Guerin and Jens Wolters. Jens trying to do the double as we head into the first chicane. He's got the inside and a great pass. Why'd they go Seidel over the curbing? Meanwhile, back up front, you see Wolters is out. Seidel still in second back there as Taylor having a look, but no move. Fowler's being able to hold him off very wide. Don't hit that bump that took out Jonathan Dinkel. In behind, they're 3 wide again. Manathan Guerin moves to the front. Side by side, Seidel and Volters, and it's going to be Jens who's got the drive off. What a battle back here with these three. Taylor in the tow as we head down to Indianapolis. He's looking on the inside. Fowler tries to put a little block, but he's got the position. Meanwhile, Volters up to fourth, side by side for the lead. It is Aaron Taylor. He's sideways and clips the wall. Backs it up as this battle is going to come through. McDonald goes by, back on track. Meanwhile, Volters on the inside. Still with Seidel. Seidel holds it on the outside and takes the inside on Indianapolis. What a race. The Corvettes catching up from behind as Manathan Guerin has lost touch with these two. And after all that, Hayden Fowler now with a comfortable lead after an incredible lap of battles in the GTE class. It's 4.8 seconds back to Jennifer McDonald now, who's in second. There is Taylor coming around to pit road. He's not going to bite. He's got some damage, but the car seems okay. And he's going to continue as we pan back. Still under pressure is Seidel with Volters right on his tail. A little bit of a push through the Ford chicanes, but he gathers it up. Action here as we head back on board with the 24 car. And a beautiful tow, and he's got the entire straight to get by here. Times of these positions changed. Jens Volters up into fourth. Meanwhile, we're 33 minutes into this race, and Dawson Hess is the first one down pit road in LMP. He comes in after lap number 8, starting his 9th lap. Sorry, after lap number 9, starting his 10th lap. All the other LMPs have gone around, so they're going to get at least 10 laps on their fuel. But with the length of this lap, I don't think it'll be spread out by more than a single lap. Connor Seidel trying to get an exit. Maybe Jens has finally got himself through that position. Don't expect tires from too many people here. We'll watch the pit times, 31.6 seconds. And that is fuel only for the 67 car, Dawson Hess. As Connor Seidel has pushed off at Mulsanne. Goes for the late break. That's going to give Manathan Guerin and Hensel a position back as the Canadian recovers back onto the circuit. Meanwhile, Hensel passes his teammate and moves up to 5th. Let's do a quick rundown. I think we can catch our breath here now. We're back with our race leader in LMP. That's Thomas Brommel now. He's got an 11.3 second gap. And with the troubles Andreas Schwarz has had, technical issues, we're having to say, not really his own. This is cementing Thomas Brommel into second place. He had a 1-point lead in the championship coming into today. 152 to Andrea's 151. And it's a big gap right now with Andreas running in 6th in class. We're expecting the rest of the LMPs down pit road this time by. As Taylor has made it into pit road. This probably a little early, so maybe the damage is affecting him a little bit, and he wants to get some repairs done. A stunning debut for the 56, put it on pole, had some great battles. But a little half spin, you can see the damage on the car, and Aaron is in the pits a little early. Oh, and he's gone to the garage. Okay. Meanwhile, behind him, the 4 car of Thomas Brommel is in. As Marcel Struff looks to be having a little bit of an issue there at the Ford chicane exit. That was at the first ones. And you can see Wortley in behind is coming down pit road as well. We'll see if Taylor's going to continue here. That's not a good sign he's gone to the garage. It didn't look like race-ending damage. But we will see. It's Aaron's first race here, so we never know what to expect. We'll see what happens as both the LMP2 leaders are in pit road together. We get back on track as the Night Racing Esports cars continue to run nose to tail. Seeley has gone into pit road, so the top 3 in LMP are now on the pits. That should release the 67 of Dawson Hess. He's coming around. He, of course, made his pit stop the previous lap. Brommel is out. Oh, he's pushing. Wortley covers the line to exit. So Hess is going to retake his 3rd, as we expected. And the gap is around 6 seconds to Wayne Wortley there, who is still 11.5 behind Brommel. They had pretty much identical pit stops, 33.5, 33.9 respectively for Brommel and Wortley. As the GT3 AM driver passes Aaron Taylor on the timing screen, I think we have lost the 56 car, and that's a shame. Lars Rydstad makes it into the pits for his first pit stop, and that will complete the LMPs, who are on a 3-stop race today, as far as I know. Those, of course, can be split up into 1,500 different versions of strategy, as we know from watching the LMPs all season. But it looks pretty much like everybody took fuel only, no tires that first time around. Pit stops ranging from 31.6 was the quickest for Dawson Hess to a 34.2 for Lars Rydstad. But all well within the fuel only range. As things for the first time in 40 minutes settle in is way wide, and that's going to be a slowdown for Maneth and Guerin. And they both come into the pits, so GTE 4 and 5 into pits, and Siedel's in behind them. So this three-way battle for fourth place. We just saw a glimpse, I think, of Mark Sonnen there. As not a battle for position here on track. That is Seeley just out of the pits. Because of his damage, Keith Rainey is off sequence here. So not a battle. In fact, he's 3 laps behind the 72 car. But they're running nose to tail. The GT3's all in. We see a couple of GT3 cars in there. That's Dante Quispe is getting damage repair done for that incident we saw earlier. The night cars heading out together, and Seidel right there with him as that battle will continue, hopefully, for the next full stint here. Still haven't seen any of the leaders in GTE as Groningen in the pits now. Fowler, McDonald, Wolters. Sonnen was just going through the Ford chicanes. We saw the nose of his car, but it wasn't coming into pit road. He went through, as did Marcel Struff. None of those cars have been down pit road yet. Hensel, who you're watching now, the leader of the GTE cars who have made a pit stop. I would expect we'll see the rest of the field the next time around. And a little bit of a tow here for Manathan Guerin. Going to make a move here. We have a new car in 6th place, and it looked like Kevin facilitated that a little bit. Are the teammates working together to try and increase the straight line speed and maybe put a bit of a gap to Connor Seidel here? There is no team championship in these endurance races. However, there are teams here. It's a great place for teams to come and practice and to get ready for big special events and 6-hour races, and to simply work on your endurance skills to run full stints. All our races 90 minutes and 2 hours, so you can run tire programs, fuel saving programs, and get it all done the way you want and experiment with things. Of course, the Night Racing Esports teams, you see the 3 Corvettes here today. There are 2 Night Racing Esports team cars in, 3 in LMP. Dean Ellico not here today. But you've got the Unleashed team cars in LMP, of course, finishing 1-2 in the championship here in Season 2. There is Brommel coming through this battle now. And the Switch It cars were very well represented in this series as well. Marcel Struff right there, one of the Switch It drivers. As the front end of GTE is on pit road, there is Fowler, there is McDonald. In behind is Jens Wolters, just now coming into his pit road. You see Chris Thompson there making his GT3 debut. We've heard from Chris's pits. He's been called away. He was on call this weekend, and unfortunately he got a phone call with something that had to be taken care of at work. So unfortunately Chris's GT3 debut has been cut short, but we're going to see a lot of Chris in the summer series and into Season 3. He is super excited about the 3-class structure. Mark Sonnen into the pits as well, as the GTEs are back out. You can see the timing screens jumping all around as people in the pits passing each other, whose boxes are in front of who. This will all sort out soon. As Manathan Guerin and Hensel jump back up to 4th and 5th, Seidel in 6th. Sonnen and Struff slide back into their positions. The LMP race leader now coming by Jens Wolters, who comes out of pit road. Jens in third place. And we're just looking at it with a 5-point lead over Hayden Fowler. Hayden leading this class now with a 7.7 second lead over Jen McDonald. 38, 27, 22. Those are the points awarded to the podium finishers. So at the moment, Fowler doing what he needs to do to take that second place in the championship. Wolters 21.3 seconds down the road as Keith Rainey is passing his teammate. Not a pass for position. He's backed right off there. He said he did not want to go side by side. Seeley, I think, might have been thrown off by that a little bit. A little deep into the chicane. We'll see what happens now. Not a battle for position. We said Rainey is 3 laps down after that lap 1 spin. They've got a new nose cone on that car. He does go by here, and Seeley's going to slot back in. The lap times 3:34 last time around for Rainey. 3:34.2, very close. They've been running together for a while. As we get a look at Wayne Wortley here in the 48 car into the pits. For the first time comes our GT3 AM leader, Enos Bothma, after lap 11 for his first pit stop in the KRL and having a great race. He was very active in practice, something we love to see. Not only the league puts up practices, but a lot of the drivers in this series. Say we had 10 hours of practice for this race. Spread around in European and North American time zones. It's very easy to get on the track and run with these drivers and get prepared for these events. And Enos was all over it and putting in some very good lap times, and he looks like a driver to watch as we move forward in the GT3M class. And he has come out of the pits in that beautiful sounding Mercedes. And he's got a pretty good lead over a couple of our other first-timers. Dale Clough having a good round here. We'll get a look at him. There is Dale in the other Mercedes. He's running second. Dante Quispe in the pits. And we hear he's had a bit of an engine issue as well. Chris Thompson has retired from the race, but he's still sitting in third on that timing screen in GTE. We'll see if Dante can get his car back out on circuit. We check back in with Dawson Hess, who is closing in on Wortley. The gap is under 7 seconds, although the last time around Wayne was the quickest car on track with a 3:32.4. You can see Dawson coming through the GTE field here, so that likely is why we have the 1 second discrepancy in lap times. But he's definitely making some inroads on this gap for second place. We will watch that carefully as he is pushing, as Dawson likes to do. Holds it within the confines of the racing surface and will make his way past Jens Wolters. We saw a glimpse of Wortley up ahead of him. It's a 7-second gap now. Wortley just there in the background coming into that first chicane on the Mulsanne straight. There is the race leader of GTE, about to be passed by the race leader in LMP2. Hayden Fowler and Thomas Brommel on the same screen, and no, that's Dale Clough in behind. That's second. I thought we had all 3 race leaders on the screen at the same time. That's the second place GTE car. You got to make that a drinking game. How many times I say the wrong GT class, have to get used to having both of those. Keith Rainey now pulled away from his teammate. Seeley had a little bit of pace. He did out-qualify Seeley. And with the internet issues with Shores and the first lap spin by Rainey, kind of deprived of what could have been a very, very good battle in LMP. We had some great stuff early on. We have 14 cars registered for that class. We have, as we said, 8 drivers with super licenses all ready to go for Season 3. And we intend to fill that out very soon over the summer months using this race and the 3 summer special events. And the goal is to have a 12-car field in LMP with drivers who will be at pretty much every race, if not 7 of 8. And we'll have a very close, stable, and exciting championship there in LMP. The GT3E class, I just can't tell you how excited I am with that. With all the returning drivers, the replies in the Discord have been overwhelmingly positive, and we have all of the top end of the field in GTE coming back, and we have great drivers like Aaron Taylor joining us. We have some other ones signed up who are here today. There's a charity event going on, which usually happens when you get new drivers joining in. They have other commitments that they go, oh, well, I can't get rid of this. And this will become their commitments moving forward. And we have what should be the most spectacular GTE Pro Championship shaping up. We'll get a glimpse of it over the next 3 months as the summer special events happen. Rainey into the pits. We told you he was off sequence. That will release his teammate, currently running in 4th place, Paul Seeley, having a great run and trying to cement another top 5 in LMP. He is not one of the top I-rated drivers here, but very consistent. And looking actually for a 4th place finish here in the championship in LMP in Season 2, finished 5th in Season 1. As Wayne Wortley comes by the GTE leader. And that gap down to 5 seconds now. Dawson Hess is reeling in the South African. And we're going to have a little ding-dong here for 2nd place very shortly in LMP. Still a little while for pit stops. They stopped after lap 10, the front end of that field. Dawson was in after lap 9. So we'll see. They're working lap 15 now, so I would think after lap 18 is the first earliest we could possibly see the 67 car in pit road. Wortley makes his way down toward Mulsanne. Let's see how long it takes. That's a Corvette. There is Dawson Hess. He's got a little bit of a toe to make this easier, and he continues to reel in the 48. As we approach the 1 hour mark here at Le Mans, the season finale, Season 2 of the Night Racing League Sports Car Championship. Thomas Brommel sets another fast lap of the race. He's the quickest car on circuit, turned a 3:31.688. His fast lap of the race, a 3:30.2. And that is the fastest lap in the class. Thomas already up near the Porsche curves as Dawson Hess drifts the rear end of that P217. And has the gap down to 4.3 seconds. Jens Wolters, in his drive for 2nd place in the championship, still sits 21 seconds behind Hayden Fowler He was quicker on the last lap. He's got work to do here in the final 66 minutes. And that is Seeley sitting in behind Jen McDonald, waiting for the exit to make his pass. That's how you get a super license, boys and girls, right there. Shore is having to do the same. Dawson Hess turns in his fastest lap of the race, I believe, a 3:30.616. 2 seconds quicker than the 48 car on that last lap. This is the closest battle on the circuit at the moment. The night racing teammates of Manathan Guerin and Kevin Hensel. They're off in the distance, trying to get every bit of tow he can here. Jens Volter's trying to hunt down Jennifer McDonald. He was much quicker the last time around. With the ebbs and flow of traffic, we'll see what it is next time. A 47.9 for Jens that time around. McDonald a 49.3. Which was off pace, Fowler 47.8, so certainly traffic as we have Struff a little bit of a four-wheel drift at the Dunlop chicane. Lars Rydstedt gets through there cleanly, and the 78 is back on his way. Lars having another good run here today. Absolutely clean. Let me have a look. Incident points are good. As we've got a gaggle of KRL cars on the screen there. Seeley goes by the GTE race leader. Hayden Fowler now with an 11-second gap. And all he's got to do is keep it there. He's turning very consistent laps in the high 47s. Volters is basically keeping pace with the leader as you're coming through your GT3 AM leader. Ines Bothma, another car having an awesome debut here. Not a lot of people to race against. This is about getting out on track with the league. He's got lots of traffic coming through, and Ines having a great run here today. He will have a lot more people to deal with in 3 weeks when we go to Silverstone. And we're looking forward to that. It should be a good field. GTE drivers who are here that we know are racing GT3 next season. Steve Roniga will be racing a Ferrari 488 GT3. Chris Thompson is in a Mercedes at the moment. We'll see if the 8-car thing works out on iRacing. If it does, there is a lot of excitement about the 911 GT3 coming. That car being released in June, and it will be added to the GT3 class if we can have 8 cars. The other consideration, of course, if more people want to drive the Porsche than the Lamborghini, we'll make that choice. But at the moment, it looks like the Mercedes and the 488 are the cars of choice. Marcel Struff is going to be running in GT3 AM. Nina de Boer, who we've seen earlier on. We talked to Nina a couple of weeks ago. She's indicated she wants to race in the GT3 and will be more available, so it would be great to have her back on the grid. New driver, you all know Dean Ellico from LMP. His son is going to be making his debut in the GT3 AMP class, so that's going to be great. And we have some other drivers signed up as well. So should be a good class. We have 13 names on the GT3 AM list right now. We want to get at least 18 racing on a regular basis. So we'll see what happens over the summer. Recruiting is going on, and we get new applications every day. So the numbers are very fluid at the moment. As Andreas Schwarz comes by Bothma here. Actually, a pass for position on the overall race timing screen. Andreas down in 6th place. Let's get a look here. 3.5 seconds approximately, the gap here. As Wayne Wortley comes through Indianapolis, and we have 1 hour left here at Le Mans. Half distance. Oh, as a little wiggle there. Just saw it in the background from Dawson. That back end, once you get those tires overheated, they're not going to give you any grip. We use this long straight to cool it back down. Mark Sonnen in the 111 running in 7th place in GT. Jen McDonald here continues a spectacular season. Jen's been on the podium every single race in Season 2. Has won both championships in GTE. And is looking to add an 8th podium here again today. Running a solid 2nd place with actually maintaining, if not extending, that gap now over the 24 car of Jens Wolters. It's an 8-second gap. As we watch the race leader come through, he will complete lap number 15. 16 he completes. And Hayden with 1 hour left to clinch 2nd place in this championship. Qualified on the front row and has done everything right today. Had that spectacular battle early on with Aaron Taylor. And what a test session this has been for him and his 2 teammates. And there is the race leader in LMP2. A fantastic season for Thomas Brommel. 2 race wins already at Daytona. That's Marcel Struff is off down in Indianapolis. 2 race wins already at Daytona and Spa for Thomas Brommel. And 2 other podiums. He podiumed at Suzuka and Sebring as well. Looking to maybe add a 3rd win to his trophy cabinet here today and cement that 2nd place in the Unleashed 1-2 in LMP2 as the series champion Dennis Rotter clinched last race at Spa-Francorchamps. Saw a glimpse of Enos Bothma there in the background, and there is the 2nd place car of Dale Clow. That's Steve Groninga in his final race in GTE, switching over to the GT3 AM class starting at Silverstone. Another driver who's been fantastic on the Discord as well. Really excited for Season 3. Had a good talk with Steve earlier in the week. Excited for the GT3 AM class that's coming together and the level of competition that's going to be there for the lower I-rated drivers. Really that those midfield, and you see Steve there running an 8th. He's going to be running for a championship. He'll be one of the top guys out there racing against Ines Bothma. So can't wait to see that. Those battles come together starting in 3 weeks. There is Ines right there. As Dawson Hess at the end of lap 18 has come into pit road. So this is his second scheduled pit stop, and it'll be interesting now because with a 3-stop race, if you fill all the way to the top, you can do a short fill. We'll see if there's tires involved on this one as well. But a full fill would be just over 30 seconds. They were 33-second stops. This is Wayne Wortley, the driver he's chasing. Seeley will momentarily overtake for third. But as we say, momentarily. And the revs are up, so there's no tires going on that car. 31.1 seconds stopped. And he clicks the timing light at the end of pit road, a 1 minute, 3 second pit stop, and that is very, very good. The stops on the first time around were 105s for all the leaders. So a very, very good pit stop. He entered and exited. That's not a word. He got in and got out really well, folks. And he continues that chase on the 48 car, who we don't expect the rest of that LMP field until the end of lap 20 if they all go the same distance they did. And that'll be interesting. So that's a full fill for Dawson, 31.1. So he's going to be doing a short fill at the end of the race. And we'll see what everybody else does here on their second stops. Kevin Hensel there with his gap over Connor Seidel that we looked at. Both cars just coming in through the GT3 leader, and Connor with a little bit of a hold-up, I think, through Tech Rouge. We'll get by now. That's a 6.7 second gap for the Canadian. You can see right up the road there, Hensel, Guerin, and Volters all within eyesight. Needs to get up there and get a little bit of a tow. Those guys all had that spectacular battle in the first stint. Everybody led it at one point, and they were back and forth and 3 wide for how many straightaways did they go 3 wide? Keith Rainey back in the pits. And he was just in, I thought. I wonder if he got a drive-through. We know he would have got a 4X on lap 1. We saw him go to the pits not too long ago. I didn't watch the timing screen to see if he just went straight through, but Rainey is now back out on track. And that looks like a fuel-only stop to me. Dante Quispe is back on circuit. The 15 car. He's had a bit of a rough debut here today, but the Canadian is toughing it out, as any good endurance driver will. The second place LMP comes through, makes room. Good stuff for Dante, who's been very enthusiastic, and we were glad to have him here in the KRL. he gets himself up to speed and ready for the Summer Super Series here. As we get ready for Season 2, or Season 3. Well, there is Maneth and Garin, and Connor Seidel has closed that gap right up here. Whether there was a slowdown involved or not, Hensel up ahead. But we've got a battle for 5th place here. This now the closest battle on circuit. As Maneth Garin attempts to hold on to that last top 5 position. There's Rainey out of the pits. Wortley turns a 3:30.668. Fastest car on circuit. And we're going to see those LMPs coming in soon. Is that a slowdown for the 25? Certainly looks like it. And that opens up that gap. 3 places around here. It's very, very easy to get a slowdown. The Ford chicanes coming out of Tete Rouge. And the exit of the Porsche curves as well. If you're interested in joining up here, if you're watching this broadcast, I should always try and throw this stuff at the beginning. Not sure how people not involved in the series, if they run through the whole broadcast, it'd be great if they did. But the current I ratings of these 3 classes here, the LMP class today has an I rating of 2,053. This, of course, is an average. We have drivers all the way up into 3Ks. The GTE Pro class, a 2412 I rating today. And the GT3 AM class, 1449. Of course, you must be under 2K to get into that class. So just an idea if you're interested in signing up and getting on track. Speed is not what gets you into the Night Racing League. It's being a good endurance driver and being able to keep it on track. Driving traffic. As the leaders are in the pits, here comes Thomas Brommel. In behind, you saw Wayne Wortley on pit road. And we will see where Dawson Hess fits into this. We expect the 72 of Paul Seeley as well. He's quite a ways up the road now as the 2 leaders are in again. Dawson coming through the Porsche curves. And how much time has he caught up on the 48 car here? All looks good there. Still in the pits. Fuel cell should be full. No tires for Brommel. He's out. Just coming into the Ford chicane. Hard on the rev limiter, and Wortley is away. Down the front straightaway, little tough to sand there. Seeley is in the pits in behind. But it's all about this gap there. You saw Wortley just going out of screen. Here comes Hess. Through the Dunlop chicane, and there is your gap for 2nd place. It is 3.1 seconds. It's moving around a little bit as the timing screen updates. No tires, so I'm going to think these guys are going the entire 2 hours on one set of tires. It should be doable, especially if you do any kind of saving or fuel saving All three leaders on the same screen there. It's a 10-second gap, 10.8 from Brommel to Wortley. That's closed in just a little bit recently. Maybe Brommel just saving his car. He's got the gap. And Hess, we haven't seen him saving his car much today as he's been recovering from starting at the back of the field. But he is right there now. The gap is 1 second. He is all over Wortley here. We've got a battle for second place here. Rysted in the pits in 5th. Seeley back on track. Fuel only for him as well. It looks like everybody on the full fuel here on the second stop, which means they'll all need a splash unless Thomas is running that fuel-saving mode that the Unleashed drivers seem to have. I doubt very much he'll be able to, I think it's 4 or 5 laps, a splash. It's almost, it's not 5 laps. It's about half a fuel fill, maybe a quarter of fuel fill for the splash and go. So I don't think you're going to save that many laps. And you certainly don't want to leave it short and run out of fuel here. As Dawson Hess has got Wayne Wortley in his sights. Rysted still in the pits, so I think we've got our... Nope, he's just put the thing, it's fuel only. A little bit wide, and Dawson has a look on the outside. Wortley, they stick it in there, and Dawson Hess up to second place. What a drive from the 67 car. We'll see if Wayne can hold on to the tail end here. This, of course, is outlap. No tire changes, so shouldn't have had any temperature problems. But Dawson will have a little less fuel, of course. 2 laps less fuel on that car. I think that equates to something in the range of 14 liters in the LMPs. As a little bit of a push wide there from one of the night racing cars. I wasn't sure. Manathan Guerin would have been coming through. That was down at Mulsanne. And Dawson very good through the Ford chicane there, and he opens that gap up. 43 minutes left. Does he have anything for this car, the 4 of Thomas Brommel? The gap is 13.8 seconds. Both cars will have to come down pit road one more time. Brommel should have a shorter stop, as he has gone 1 lap further than Hess on both stints. We'll watch their lap times as they get settled in here. Hess with a 31.9 that time around. We don't have a time from Brommel yet, as he's still on his first time lap now after the second pit stop. Maybe time for a field rundown as we've got 40 minutes left here. Your leader in LMP is Thomas Brommel, looking to clinch second place in the championship behind his teammate, Dennis Rotter. He leads. He leads over the 67 of Dawson Hess, who we just saw make his move into second place, and it's opened up a huge gap over the 48 of Wayne Wortley. Wayne, in his debut here in the Night Racing League, running a solid podium up front all day and was extremely fast in the practice sessions. He's going to be a great addition to this class moving forward. Running in 4th place and hoping that's where he finishes in the championship is the 72, Paul Seeley. He's had a relatively uneventful day as the cars around him have had issues. And he runs ahead of the 333 of Lars Rysted. The last LMP on the lead lap. and having a solid day here for another top 5 finish. I just want to fact check myself. Yes, he was 5th in Spa with his season debut. Lars new to the league, and also a good addition moving forward here. Running in 6th is the 204 of Andreas Schwarz. Andreas has had a rough day. He was hoping to challenge for that 2nd place. Had a disconnect between qualifying, finishing, and the race start. He had to come out of pit road. Then another one a lap later, which caused him to have to reboot his computer. He's toughing it out, though, and is going to collect 6th place points here as he runs a lap off the pace. There you see the race leader just behind him. The 6th of Keith Rainey qualified in 4th, but had a spin on lap 1, which caused almost 12 minutes of damage repair, plus the tow, of course. Keith is running in 7th place, the last car on circuit in LMP here today. The battle for the GTE championship comes down here to Hayden Fowler in the 28 car. Jen McDonald had, of course, already clinched the championship at Spa last race. Hayden in a tight battle with the 24 car, but doing fantastically well here today. As Wayne Wortley, we're going to bail out of this right now. Wayne has come into pit road, and this is very early. What has happened to the 48 car? Remember, that gap opened up very quickly from the 67 to the 48, and I think we're going to find out what's happened here. Coming down to the Ford chicanes. You can see he's right on the tail. Oh, he's clipped that curbing on the entrance to the Ford chicanes. And he's had to come down to pit road to get damage. You can see he's on the jacks. He's going to get tires as well. So that's an unfortunate break. A lot of cars were doing that in practice as well. And that has given Seeley 3rd place in the GT or in the LMP class. So Paul Seeley here promoted to a podium position as Wayne Wortley has to get his car worked on in pit road. Back to the GTE class led by Hayden Fowler. He has a 15-second lead over the 2-time champion Jennifer McDonald in the 99 car. Behind Jen is the 24 of Jens Wolters. Jens is trying to chase down the race leader and clinch 2nd place, but it's only a 5-point lead he holds coming into this race. Hayden Fowler, 23.5 seconds up the road. I'm going to get messed up on my field rundown as the cars are all in the pits. Kevin Hensel in 4th, ahead of Jaden Manathan-Guerin and Connor Seidel. Those 3 cars all in for their 2nd pit stops right now. Running in 7th is the 111 of Mark Sonnen, who's going to leapfrog them all as he's got an extra lap of fuel in his C8. And he's running ahead of the 59 of Steve Groninga, just coming through Indianapolis. Steve will be moving to the GT3 AM class next season and runs 7 seconds ahead of Marcel Struth, another Season 3 GT3 AM driver in the 78 BMW M8. He's the final car running on track for GTE, as we've had 2 retirements. Aaron Taylor and John Dinkle out with damage. John hit a very weird bump there coming out of the 2nd Mulsanne chicane, and it threw his car into the barriers. Not only body damage, but suspension as well. Aaron Taylor was having a battle for the lead with Hayden Fowler and spun in Indianapolis. And when he went to pit road, the damage too severe also, and he retired that car. And the field rundown continues with the GT3 AM class making its debut. No points today, and with a lot of the GT3 drivers still finishing off their season in GTE, Enes Bothma is your class leader in the 395 Mercedes AMG. He's been competitive all week, turning in great lap times, and he's had a fantastic run. We look forward to seeing him through the summer special events with a much larger field. As we said, currently 13 cars signed up for that class. Many of them KRL veterans who with a sub 2K I rating are going to run in the GT3 AM class and have themselves a competitive championship up at the front. Running in second is Dale Clow in his KRL debut. He's also had a pretty good race. That car looks very clean. We look forward to seeing Dale all summer long and into Season 3 as well. Dante Quispe and Chris Thompson also started this race in GT3. Chris called away. Unfortunately, the veteran moving over to the GT3 AM class. Dante making his debut. He's had a couple of spins and is currently in the pits. We hear the engine has blown on that car. So he's had a rough debut, but we look forward to seeing Dante over the summer and into season number 3. As we head back to live action, the GTEs are making their second stops. There is your race leader. McDonald is in the pits behind, and there is Jens Wolters as well. This will be the final stop for the GTE cars. Jens way back on pit road, of course, didn't get a qualifying time in, had to start in 11th as Hayden Fowler hits the throttle and is away, no tires. "34 minutes away from clinching second place. McDonald away as well with no tires, and here comes Wolters. 26.9 for Fowler, 25.9 for McDonald, 23.5 for Jens Wolters. So he does gain a little bit of time back on that pit stop. Let's see if he can close in. He's still got over a half an hour, and if anybody's got the pace, it's Jens Wolters. He's been right up there all season. And that gap, as the timing screens settle out, is now 21 seconds. So definitely has pulled in a little bit of time on the pit exchange. See if he can get himself up into the toe of the 99 car, and that'll really make things interesting. It's a 16-second gap from first to second, as there you see, you just saw Fowler coming out of that first chicane as McDonald and Wolters approach it. Wortley out of the pits in the 48 LMP2. He has dropped all the way down to 5th place with the repair work that had to be done. Interesting though, as he makes his way back out here, if he packed that car with fuel, we know he took tires, he should be good to go to the end of this race. So let's watch those gaps up to Rysted and Seeley, because all of the LMPs in front of Wayne will have to make a splash and go pit stop. And Wayne should be good to go to the end of this race. So we'll watch that. It's only 15 seconds up the road to Lars Rysted. Much further up to Seeley, however. It's a 2-minute gap as around goes Andreas Schwarz. And who was that we saw? I think we said his name, and there he was. As we'll have a look, this was down at Dunlop, just coming out of the pits. That's Seeley coming past the pit exit. He has to tuck in behind, and oh, no contact. Seeley hard on the brakes, keeps it off the 204, but that definitely caused the Canadian a little bit of time. The gap, 1 minute, according to our clock, 1 minute, 2 minutes and 14 seconds from Sealy to Wortley. So about 2/3 of a lap. Just going to... Sealy right now in the first Mulsanne chicane, and the 48 car is in Indianapolis. So that's the gap. It's about a minute to go down pit road. If you're taking a full fuel, it's going to be a splash and go. So let's say about 40 seconds of that gap is going to be eaten up on pit road. So could be safe. Wortley has had a much better pace through the race, but we'll see if they got all of that fixed. That was an under tray hit on the 48, and we know the under trays can't be repaired on these cars. You can fix a lot of other stuff. You can't take the floor off of these things and get your top speed back. Also affected downforce. We'll see what those lap times are like and if that gap is coming down at all. 14 seconds the gap from Wortley to Rysted. This is Lars right here, just completing his 24th lap. We hope you've enjoyed Season 2 in the Night Racing League. It's been a fantastic year, and we are looking forward to an exciting summer recruiting and filling out the fields for the 3-class Season 3. 3 special events running over the summer. We start on the 19th of June at Silverstone for a 90-minute 3-class race. 2 hours on the Barcelona historic track and 90 minutes at the Sebring International Circuit. Come and join us and get in on the most realistic endurance racing series on iRacing. "30 minutes left here in Season 2. As Thomas Brommel makes his way around. Looking to join his teammate, Dennis Rotter, in an unleashed 1-2. Staying on track, hoping for a miracle, is Andreas Schwarz, who is only 1 point behind the 4 car as we started today. Terrible luck for the 204. And we know Andreas will be with us competing for those podiums in Season 3 as well. And the competition hotting up, of course. We've got Wayne Wortley here today. Eric Fox, who has grandstand seats at Indianapolis this weekend, so that's why he's not here. Oliver Schlabs also we hope to have in Season 3 as well. Dennis Rotter as well. We've got a top end filling out in Season 3. We had a bunch of drivers who were already coming into a charity race, but we saw Clay Barklow, Chris Karuner, Charles Karuner in the practice sessions. And I'll get his name right, I'll reach out and make sure I can pronounce everybody. Jeff Jerome is signed up for the P217 class, so we've got a lot of good drivers who just couldn't be here today. And looking forward to having them in Season 3. It should be a heck of a class. As here is the 48 of Wayne Wortley, 3:34 last time around, so he's definitely reeling in Rysted. It's a 9-second gap now. Lars did a 3:38.5 last time around. And he's quicker than Sealy as well. That 3:36, I wonder if that still includes the brake lockup, trying to avoid the 204 car down in Dunlop. So we will wait for the 72 to come around again. 3:34 is off the times that Wayne was running earlier. I suspect that car has a little bit of damage underneath. as he comes around to 3:35.6, so that we had to wait to go through the 4 chicane zone. Brummel in behind just turned a 3:31.6, the fastest lap on circuit. Rainey back in the pits. Troubles continue for the 6 car. He's just come out. That looks like it was stopped for 13 minutes. I must have missed something there. Andre Schwartz comes in through Steve Groniga here. "25 minutes left in Season 2. Updated lap times now. Yes, Seeley's across the line, 3:34.3. So we're going to have to see some quicker times from the 48. He's now 8 seconds behind the 3:33 car. Lars did a 3-minute 42nd that time around. There's the gap back to the race leader. And Dawson Hess now, who spent most of this race chasing down that 48 car, finds himself in a very comfortable 2nd place. He's not doing the lap times to reel in the 4 car. But certainly a great day after not getting the qualifying time in, having to start at the back of the field. Has fought his way all the way up to 2nd place. And other than some exciting little tail wags coming out of corners, he's had a very good day. He hasn't been off track and has really put in an impressive run. What could have happened had Dawson started up on the front 2 rows where he should have been? But a very good showing here, looking like he's going to be on the podium for the first time in the KRL, if I'm not mistaken. I do not believe Dawson had a podium in either Season 1. He certainly hasn't had one in Season 2 yet, so this has been an impressive run for the American and a well-earned result if that shakes out in the next 23 minutes. It is great here in those V8s and the GT3s. And I am really excited for 3 weeks from now as we look forward to just checking up on the time streets. Speaking of GT3s, Ines Bothma right now is purple. Oh. Sorry about that. Ines Bothma is purple on his first 3 sectors on this lap. Putting in his race distance, and he's purple in sector 4. What a lap he's having here with 21 minutes left. No one to race with today. We know that's going to change, but he's put in an impressive run, and his lap times super competitive. And all week, and this just the timing screen is jumping off the page here as he's putting in an incredible lap. So we're going to stick with the 395 here. and give Enos a shout out, and just want to see how the rest of this lap unfolds. Another purple sector. Fast lap of the race in GT3 is a 4:01.130, and that is held by Enos here. And nothing is going to disappoint me more if he has to come into the pits for fuel on the end of this lap, but we're going to stick with him. Just off of his sector 6 time. As he makes his way through the Porsche curves. Keep it left. Keep it left. All right, it's an actual lap. It's good. It's not a light fuel coming into the pits, so let's see what Enos can do if he's going to... oh, a little bit of a wiggle. I think he was pushing for it. And he comes across the line, a 4:01.218, so he's off by a 10th. That would have been a fast lap of the race. And I was just looking the previous lap time. I think he just came out of the pits. But what a great run there for the 395. Good stuff. As we check back in here, about to go down a lap is the 48 car. Pulls out of the way, lets Brommel go by. Doesn't keep it in there to keep a tow. Who's that he's coming by? Is that the GTE leader? It's just... It is, so that's why. It's 2 race leaders there, and he didn't want to stick his car in the back there and maybe unsight Hayden, so really good stuff there. He's going to come across the line. He's still quicker than Rysted. That gap down to 5 seconds. Seeley is consistently in the mid-334s, so I think there's damage on that car, and maybe 3rd place is going to be out of the question. But we should have a battle for 4th here as he is pulling up on the tail of the 333. See if we can get a pan up here. There is Lars there, just coming onto Malson. As Brommel is there, and here comes Wortley now. So that gap coming down. We have Dawson Hess in the pits. We know he's in before everybody else, and this is his splash and go. We'll see how long these stops are. He's going to have to take at least 2 more laps of fuel. And if the other guys have still been saving, it could be 3 more laps of fuel. Who's that coming down pit road? That is Keith Rainey coming back out after a stop. On the limiter, and away he goes. So Dawson Hess now good to the end. Seeley will momentarily take 2nd place. That's him going by. Completes lap 28. These guys have been on even numbers, 10, 20, and we expect 30. So it'll be 2 more laps before the Canadian comes down. Here is Wortley. 5 seconds back of Rysted. Doesn't look that far now as... yeah, definitely looks tighter than that. This is the battle for 4th place in LMP2. And we've got them on the same screen. 2 purple sectors this lap for Bachma in GT3. Check in to see if we can top that 4:01.130. It's 2 purples but 4 whites. Not sure if he's going to, if it's going to be as close as it was last time. Just that tail wag. Didn't get it in the Ford chicanes. A 3rd purple sector. It's become my quest now to see this car turn fast lap of the race. He already has fast lap of the race, but let's see how he does down here. We're going to get back to the 3:33. Don't worry. Maybe we'll just check in and we'll catch Enos as he comes across the line. There's that gap. Through the Ford chicanes. He's got 3 purple sectors this lap. He had 5 the last time. Here he comes over the line. 3:59.953, a new fast lap of the race in GT3 AM. That's a great lap. As we check back in with LMP2, and out of the Ford chicane comes Wortley. Rysted a 37.3 and a 34.9 for Wayne as he was unimpeded that time around. 15 minutes to go. We'll see if the Swede can hold on to his 4th place here. He's had a great run. No issues that I can remember. And see what happens here. But Wortley is on a bit of a heater here. 3:34 that time around. So he can run. Seeley a 3:33.6 that time around. They're getting very light as splash and goes are coming. We know Wayne could get to the end of the race. I assume he filled that car right up. He had to pit for damage there. It was 32 minutes left in the race when he left pit road, and that certainly is less than the amount of time he's been running on his full stints. So the 48 car should be good, and that does actually pose a question. We've got this battle, but we're going to see Lars down pit road, I would think. He's going to need a splash and go as well. So we'll see what happens after lap 30. As Manathan Garin comes through the S's. 5th place. The podium's starting to shape up here. Fowler leads McDonald by 16.5 seconds in GTE Pro. Jens Wolters 24 seconds off the lead, and they've got a nice gap back to Kevin Hensel. So that looks like your GTE podium shaping up. The significance of that is Hayden Fowler will take 2nd place in GTE with a race victory here today. Started this race 5 points behind the 24 car. Your LMP2 podium is shaping up. It's a little out of sorts right now as Dawson Hess has made his final pit stop. Wortley, we believe, also has made his final stop. Brommel, Seeley, Rysted all need to come down for splash and goes. So we'll see how that sorts out. Wortley about to make a pass here for 4th place. As we're completing lap 29, we think Lars can go around one more time. Yep, he stays out. Brommel's in the pits. So Brommel stops a lap early. That's going to allow these two to unlap themselves. We had a momentary yellow flag down there at Arnage, but it seems to have sorted itself out. We're told it was Seeley. We're told that Paul Seeley was down there, had a little bit of a rear brake lockup in Arnage. No harm, no foul. He lost a couple of seconds. Does that help Wortley? as he now has the toe out of Tete Rouge, and we're going to see a pass here for 4th place. Oh, get us back there. He's about to pull out, and he's pulled back in. Maybe waiting just for the first chicane. Oh, a little bit of a push by Rysted. He's off, and Wortley's going to get the run on the outside. And there's your pass for 4th place. Seeley in the 72 in the pits. So that gap, which was 2 minutes, it's only going to be a splash and dash here for the 72. Dawson Hess goes through, retakes 2nd place. Seeley had a spin, we're told, but didn't hit anything. Just lost the back end and got it back going again. And just now getting down to Mulsanne. So this is not going to be a drama. And Seeley will exit the pits in 3rd place, looking for his 2nd podium of the season and to clinch 4th in the championship. He started in 4th, had a 22-point lead, and is going to clinch that position, it looks like. Smoke, and that is Schwarz again. And that looks like damage this time. That suspension doesn't look right. A really rough day for the German today, and he's just put the off, and that was a big impact. That's why he just hooked that inside curb, and now trying desperately to stay out of the way. That's Hess and one of the night racing cars. And I think that's going to be it for the 24. I wouldn't fault him at all at this point. With 8 minutes remaining, I think the damage there is going to be longer than that to fix. And in a day that started off with some real promise, starting on row 2, just a point behind the 4 of Thomas Brommel, is going to end on pit road, unfortunately, for the 204 of Andreas Schwarz. Hayden Fowler, on the other end of the spectrum, has had a perfect day. And it wasn't an easy one, I'll tell you. It was hot and heavy in qualifying, and he had battles galore early on. And came out on top. He's got a 16-second lead over Jed McDonald and is looking like he's on pace to collect all the points he needs for 2nd place in this championship. His LMP teammate, Paul Seeley, on pace for a 2nd podium this season. Daytona, one of his favorite tracks. He was 3rd. A couple of 4th places as well this year. As he comes by Dale Clough in his GT3 debut, running in 2nd in the GT3 class. As the sun starts to set both on the season and the circuit here in Le Mans, we're getting very close to 2100 local time, 9 p.m. We hope you'll join us for the summer special events coming up starting in 3 weeks, 19 June at Silverstone in England. As Rysted has locked the rear end, it looks like heading down, that's the first Mulsanne chicane. Everyone has made their final pit stops. And that is exactly what's happened. The rear end just locking up. You've seen that a lot. That's exactly what happened to Seeley. We didn't have a replay of that. We're going to call him out for it. Very easy to do if you kind of poke the brakes, with a little something happening. You can get the rears to go before the fronts, and around you go. I think no harm, no foul. Schwarz is retired. Rainey is retired. They were multiple laps down and don't have enough time to make any headway, even if the cars in front stop. So they have taken their cars off the circuit. As 5 minutes remain in the season, it's been a fantastic day for Thomas Brommel. As we see a couple of late pit stops for the GTEs. They're very close on fuel here. Have to fuel save a little bit. Just checking the Discord there. But we'll see if anybody has to splash at the end here for the GTEs. As we have our two GT race leaders on the same screen. Hayden Fowler and Enos Bothma. What a great day for Fowler. Just checking over the season he had. It was a terrible start at Suzuka with an 11th place. Came back on his favorite circuit with a second at Watkins Glen, 4th at Sebring, and then he won Road Atlanta. A very difficult track. He was spectacular there. Not so much at Daytona, but a podium at the Nürburgring, 5th at Spa. And it looks like he'll be adding his second race victory here today, and an important one it is. With Wolters only in 3rd place, it's going to give him second in the championship. Wolters with 3 race wins, but he's had his ups and downs. Also a terrible start. He and Fowler both were out of the top 10 at Suzuka. But then it was back-to-back wins for the German in Watkins Glen and Sebring. Backed it up with a win in the last race at Spa. But unfortunately, it looks like the thing that's really going to hurt him the most was missing Daytona. He, even though Hayden only had a 6th place finish there, no points for Wolters, and that looks like it's going to be the difference. Any points there at all, and he might have been able to hold off with the 3rd place. But a great run here today for the 28 car. As you see a couple of the other KRL stable cars out there. I'm coming through. Little flash of the lights. As Dante Quispe is back on, they've got that engine running again. And good for him, wanting to be on track when the checkered flag comes out. A couple of Canadians will head down onto the Mulsanne straight together. And there are no points, and most of the field isn't assembled yet. But nobody's taking it away from you, buddy. It's going to be a podium finish in the debut race for the GT3 AM class. Only 4 cars here today. We expect 15 at Silverstone, as the GTE drivers switching over are released. And all the new drivers will be there. Jen McDonald, your Season 2 champion, your 2-time champion, having another perfect day. Marcel out of the way. As there is Jens Wolters. Hey, Dawson made a mistake. Doesn't actually go off track, but a little deep there into Mulsanne. And that gap, as Wortley comes into the pits, he did need a splash and go. We'll wait and see if that's what that is or if it's a drive-through. But that gap for second place now is only 5 seconds. It's not going to give Volters... It is a stop, so just needed a splash. He wasn't able to get to the end. Which absolutely cements third place here for the 72 car. As up front, Thomas Brommel starts the final lap of Season 2 in the Night Racing League Sports Car Championship. In behind, Hayden Fowler will do the same as he comes through the Ford chicane for the second last time. Hayden will start his 32nd and final lap in Season 2. It's been a great season. We saw these two unleashed drivers battling each other all year long. And very deservedly will finish 1-2. And what turned out to be a little bit of a depleted class, hence the rule changes coming up with super licenses required. The Switch It team unfortunately dropped out halfway through the championship for various reasons. And they were left a little thin up top. They had a great battle between them, won by Dennis Rotter. But we certainly have a very stout top end coming in to battle for this LMP title next season. Dawson Hess looks like he's ready to contend. Wayne Wortley is absolutely got the pace to be up there. We've got, of course, Eric Fox, who's not here today. So we've got a very, very stout top end of the field. Andreas Schwarz is certainly in that battle as well. So we're looking forward to Season 2. He's going to go by, Steve. He's coming by. He knows it's the last lap. He's got a 1 minute, 3 second lead. But he's not... backing it off now. Through the Porsche curves and the Corvette curves for the final time to clinch second place in the championship and his third win of the season. Your winner at Le Mans, the 2 hours at Le Mans, Thomas Brommel. Entering the Porsche curves for the final time in the 28 Night Racing Esports Corvette C8R. And also to claim what has happened to the 24. Jens Volters has dropped off the timing screen. As Hayden Fowler, we're going to stick with this as he comes into the Ford chicane. But Volters had to go through pit lane and then has spun on circuit. He's dropped off the podium. Hayden Fowler wins at Le Mans and takes second place in the championship. In behind, completing a perfect season, it'll be an 8th straight podium. Second place, Jennifer McDonald. And winning in GT3 AM in his debut, Ines Bothma crosses the line in the Mercedes. And a flash of the lights from your third place finisher, Paul Seeley. He'll be fourth. Dawson Hess, your second place car. And that means coming through the Ford chicane, Kevin Hensel will finish in third place in GTE Pro. What a day for night racing esports. First, third, and fourth in GTE. Jaden Manathan-Garin in fourth, and a podium for Paul Seeley in third. What a day for them. Here are your final race results. Thomas Brommel wins at Le Mans. Dawson Hess and Paul Seeley, your podium at LMP2. Wayne Mortley, Lars Reisted finished 4th and 5th. Hayden Fowler, Jennifer McDonald, and Kevin Hensel, your top 3 in GTE Pro. Jaden Manathan-Garin gets 4th place ahead of Mark Sonnen, Connor Seidel. Jens Volters on the last lap drops to 7th ahead of Steve Groniga. Your GT3 AM race winner is Ines Bothma. He'll finish ahead of Dale Clough and Dante Quisp, your podium in GT3. And that is where we're headed. As the Night Racing League Season 2 has finished, the Summer Super Series starts on June 19th at Silverstone. Get your application in for LMP2, GTE Pro, or GT3 AM. These 3 races will be used to finalize the grid for Season 3 in the Night Racing League that starts in September. We hope you've enjoyed Season 2. We've had a great time running it, and we look forward to bigger and better things as the season, as the grid explodes up to hopefully 50 cars for Season 3 and a 3-class Endurance Championship. Come and join us then. Thanks for watching the Night Racing League Season 2.